Hey Canucks fans, the Canucks have set their roster for opening night on Wednesday. Let's talk about who's on it and who's not. I'm Canuck Clay. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, October the 11th. If you're new, this is what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. And as always, this vlog is brought to you by Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. Sign up now for a free 7-day trial using the link in my video descriptions. Once again, happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Monday to everyone in Canada. I released my Ask Me Anything vlog earlier this morning. Spoiler alert, I recorded it last night before I went to bed. But now I can come to you with a true vlog for Monday as the Vancouver Canucks have indeed set their roster for opening night on Wednesday night. And it's very notable for not only who's on it, but who's not on it. So let's talk about who's on it. 23-man roster, that means there's usually 3 healthy scratches because you dress 20 players for a game. 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 2 goalies. 12, 6, and 2 adds up to 20. With a 23-man roster, that means you have 3 healthy scratches, usually either 1 forward and 2 defensemen or 2 forwards and 1 defenseman. So you'll see the Canucks have named 13 forwards, so 1 extra, 8 defensemen, 2 extra, and 2 goalies. Let's get the goalies out of the way because that's easy. That's Demko and Halak. No surprise there. We move up to the defensemen. They've named 8 defensemen for their roster, so that means they have 2 extras, 2 healthy scratches. So the defensemen on the left side are Oliver Ekman-larsson, Quinn Hughes, Jack Rathbone, and Brad Hunt. And on the right side, it's Tyler Myers, Tucker Poolman, Luke Shen, and Kyle Burrows. So Kyle Burrows makes the 8th spot. So now you have 4 guys that are on the left, 4 guys on the right, 2 extra defensemen. On the blue, up front, you have 13 forwards, so only 1 extra. So I'll just kind of read them in numerical order so I don't forget. You have Poolman, Tucker Poolman, Connor Garland. No, what am I starting with Poolman? He's a defenseman. Let's try that again. You have Connor Garland, JT Miller, Matthew Highmore, Jason Dickinson, Niels Hoglander, Elias Pettersson, Bo Horvat, Nick Patan, Tanner Pearson, Zach McEwen, Justin Dowling, and the new Vasily Podkolzin, and the newcomer Juho Lamiko, from newly acquired from Florida yesterday. So yes, Lamiko is on the starting roster, or at least the opening night roster. Maybe he's the healthy scratch. We'll see. So again, 13 forwards, 8 defensemen, 2 goalies, 13, 8, and 2. There's your 23 players. So let's talk about who's on here, and then we'll talk about who's not on there. So with the defensemen, the way the Canucks lined up today, actually at practice, you actually had Burrows and Rathbone as the 4th pairing. So you had Oliver Ekman-Larsson skating with Myers, you had Hughes with Poolman, and you had the veteran combo as the 3rd pairing of Hunt and Shen. So that means Rathbone was on the 4th pairing, technically, the extra pairing with Kyle Burrows. So a bit of a surprise there, given that Rathbone played every game, but maybe they are simply not convinced of what Rathbone can do just yet. And it's more important that he's on the roster. Let's not fret too much of whether or not he's starting opening night. At least he made the 23-man roster. So those are the 8 defensemen. A little bit of a surprise that maybe Rathbone's going to start on the outside looking in, but at least he made the roster. Up front is where it gets interesting because and I'll talk about the absences of Brock Boeser and Alex Chiasson because Chiasson was at practice today. So the lines at practice today were Horvat, Pearson, and Garland. Pettersson, Miller, so reunited with Chiasson, who you'd think would be the stand-in for Boeser. And then you had Dickinson, Highmore, Hoglander. And then you had Patan, Dowling on Podkolzin with Zach McEwen skating as the extra. Now, why that's interesting is Chiasson was in there as a forward, but you didn't have one of the forwards. I'm just trying to look at who didn't skate this morning then. Lamiko, of course, isn't here yet. So that's why you had the 13 forwards, but Chiasson did skate with them, but isn't on this roster, and Lamiko did not skate with them and is on the roster. So basically, Lamiko comes in for Chiasson. Got some family coming over for Thanksgiving. That's why you hear the noise in the background, which is all good. So what's really interesting then about this are the guys that are not on this roster. So let's talk about the forwards that are not on this roster, and then we'll end off with my predictions for opening night. So number one, most importantly, Brock Boeser, he's on injured reserve. Now, he's placed on injured reserve retroactive to September 29. Don't worry, it's not long-term injured reserve, which means you missed 10 games. There's the big difference, right? Long-term injury reserve is you missed 10 games. Injured reserve means you missed 7 days. So big difference, 7 days versus 10 games, which will likely be at least 3 or 4 weeks, usually is 10 games. So retroactive to September 29 means he comes off of injured reserve October 6th, which lo and behold was last week. So you can bring him off anytime. What that means though is likely that Boeser may not be ready for opening night on Wednesday. So do not look for Brock Boeser, even though he's skating, do not look for him to be part of the opening night roster on Wednesday night. But the most important thing to remember about Boeser, he's on injured reserve, not long-term injury reserve. So he does not have to miss 10 games. He only has to miss at least a week. On long-term injury reserve are Micheal Ferland, no surprise. Brady Keeper, who suffered that broken leg, no surprise. And Brandon Sutter, who we learned today, is still suffering from COVID symptoms. So those three guys are on long-term injury reserve. We basically get to use some of their cap space. We get cap relief from them while they're on LTIR. Lastly, Tyler Mott is injured, non-roster. So he's not even as bad as IR. So he's not long-term injured reserve, so he doesn't have to miss 10 games, and he's not injured reserve either. So that means he's basically injured non-roster. So I think to me that means he's going to fall in the middle actually of Brock Boeser's 7-day absence and then the 10-game absence, which I said is 3 or 4 weeks. So I guess he's somewhere in the middle, but that means the good thing is he's not on LTIR. So that means the good thing is he's not going to miss up to 10 games. I think I just said good thing about 4 times in that same sentence. So the main thing is Brock Boeser, IR, Ferland, Keeper, and Sutter, LTIR, Tyler Mott, injured, non-roster. Finally, let's get back to the guys who are going to be playing. So I believe it's going to be Demko starting. I believe you have your 6 D-men of OEL and Myers, Hughes and Pullman, and likely Hunt and Shaw. So that means Rathbone and Burrows on the outside looking in. And then I'm guessing... I'm not sure if Lemico's going to play actually right away. I could see, the Canucks going with, presuming that Boeser, I could see them going Pearson, Horvat, Garland, Pettersson, Miller, Patan, then Dickinson, Highmore, Hoglander, and then Podkolzin, Dowling, McEwen, or you put Dickinson with Hoglander and Podkolzin, although that's kind of I guess an experienced line. And I guess we'll learn more tomorrow as they practice. But the biggest things to note is that that JT Miller skated with Pettersson this morning, so reuniting 2/3 of the dotted line. Chason was there as a placeholder for Boeser, but Chason, who was there on a professional tryout, a PTO, doesn't look like he was signed by the team. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. They can always sign him whenever they feel like it, but they'd have to create a roster spot for him. Because remember, you can only have 23 pros. You can only have 23 people on your roster. And right now the Canucks have that full 23. So again, we'll see what the lines look like tomorrow at practice. But as of now, it looks like Pettersson and Miller were skating together. Horvat and Pearson were skating together. And then you kind of fill in the wingers from there. Garland was with Horvat and Pearson. You had Chason with Pettersson and Miller, but there's no Chason. You had Dickinson between the 2 H's of Highmore and Hoglander. And you had Podkolzin, Patan, and Dowling. Maybe look for Patan to move up and then Dowling to be that 4th line center. So if you move Miller to the wing, then you have your centers as Pettersson, Horvat, Dickinson, and Dowling. I like it a lot better than Pettersson, Horvat, Miller, Dickinson, because then it makes your wing depth a lot more shallow. So there we go, Canucks fans. Hopefully you could hear me above all the ruckus happening in my house, but it's great. It's Thanksgiving. It's family. That's what it's all about. Gonna go enjoy a nice Thanksgiving dinner now. So the main thing is the Canucks roster is set. Boeser's not on it because of IR. Ferland, Sutter, Keeper on LTIR, Tyler Mott on injured non-roster, somewhere in the middle, and then Chason not on that roster. Rathbone makes it, and then even our new player of Lemico, I gotta learn how to say that. Lemico actually makes the team, likely as a penalty killing option. Not sure. We'll see if he skates with the team tomorrow, if he's even in town just yet. All right, Canucks fans, let me know what you think of this roster. Put your comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Any surprises to you? Do you wish Chason made it? Do you wish someone else like Giuseppe made it, as opposed to, say, a Highmore or McEwen? That's the one surprise to me, is that I feel Giuseppe is not on this open net roster, but maybe you try and get him up. I think him and Lockwood were the two guys that people really want to see make this roster. So we'll see how they practice tomorrow, and then we'll get ready for a game opening night on Wednesday night. I'll have some announcements. I have to change a couple things around. Actually, I'll just make them now. On Wednesday night, I will not be doing a live stream because Marie and I were going to record tonight, but she was feeling ill today, so she's on the disabled list for 2 days. So we are going to record our song Wednesday night. So I won't be doing a post-game live stream on Wednesday night. However, I want to get that song ready to release on Thursday, and I'll prepare for my 24-hour live stream happening on Friday. I'll do all these reminders again over the next couple of days. Shout out to my hero members, nucksfan number 29, Justin Credible, Lucas Gates, and Andrew Chang, and to Hall of Fame members Jens95, Sim Alexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, and Shannon Hollingworth. Thanks for your support as always, and thanks to the support of all members of all levels. You are listed in my video descriptions. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or in my videos on the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, become a member of this channel if you'd like to, and leave a comment below if you'd like to. Tell me your thoughts on the Vancouver Canucks 23-man roster set for the start of the 2021-2022 season. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Happy Thanksgiving, God bless, and go Canucks go.